dear beloved. What we feel shapes what we see. And what we see becomes the world we live in. Close your eyes for a moment and let the world soften. Now bring your hand gently to rest upon your solar plexus, just above the navel. This is the center of your personal sun, your will, your radiance, a spinning vortex of golden light and energy. Feel it, it is a golden sun turning at the center of your being. Alive with purpose. Begin to move your hand in a slow, clockwise spiral over this center. Let your palm radiate warmth, energy, intention. This is your hand energy center, an energetic transmitter. As it moves, it activates the vortex, and the solar plexus opens like a flower to the sun. As you spiral the hand energy center with intention, say silently what you wish to anchor. I center my will in divine alignment. I radiate clarity, power, and purpose. I center abundance. I center confidence. I center peace. Each intention you spiral into the solar plexus becomes drawn into the spinning vortex, drawn inward, drawn into stillness, anchored, centered, and harmonized. Breathe into this. The spiral of the hand becomes one with the spin of the energy center. Intention and energy become one. And in this still, golden center, your intention is held, empowered by the vortex, ready to radiate through your life. Stay here for a few more breaths, feeling the stillness in the center of the spin. Then release the hand gently, and know that what you have centered within the vortex is now alive in the field of your becoming. Close your eyes and bring your full attention to your breath. Let the breath travel softly down into the belly, into the gut, into the space just above the navel. This is your solar plexus energy center, a spinning vortex of golden energy. It is the sun within the body, radiating warmth, intelligence, and power. This center is deeply connected to the gut, where intuition lives, where emotions are processed, where the second brain, the gut brain, speaks in feelings. Now gently place your hand on the gut. Feel the warmth of your palm, and begin to spiral the hand in a slow, gentle circle. This is your hand energy center in motion, a living current of energy. As you rotate the hand, feel the solar plexus respond, a golden spiral spinning beneath the surface, awakening, harmonizing, aligning. With each spiral, bring in an intention, an energy, a thought, a feeling you wish to center within this vortex. I center calm. I center trust. I center strength. I center vibrant digestion and intuitive clarity. Feel the spinning of the solar plexus draw these intentions inward, pulling them into its core, digesting them, just as the gut digests food. This is energetic nourishment. As the intentions spiral inward, they harmonize the frequency of your gut brain, tuning your inner compass to match the energy you've chosen. You are not only aiding digestion in the physical sense, you are digesting vibrations, beliefs, and emotions into harmony, into resonance, into coherence. Feel the gut relax. Feel the nervous system soften. Feel the clarity rise from your center. Breathe into the spin, and know that what you spiral in becomes the tone your body carries outward. Stay with this golden vortex, spinning, digesting, harmonizing, until you feel the stillness at its center anchored in the vibration you have chosen. In ancient temples of light, long before language carved boundaries between body and spirit, the sages of many lands knew a truth that modern minds are only just remembering, that the center of the will, the seat of personal radiance, lives not in the head, but in the belly. The solar plexus, Manipura, the city of jewels, has long been revered as a spinning vortex of fire and intelligence. It is the sun within the body, linked not only to action and clarity, but to the sacred intelligence of the gut, the second brain, the seat of knowing before thought. This center, when aligned, becomes the alchemical furnace through which emotion, intuition, and intention are digested, transformed into golden will, into action, into radiant coherence. Now, bring your hand gently to rest upon your gut, just above the navel, where this ancient sun spins still. This is the region once honored in rites of solar worship, the navel of the soul, the gateway of inner command. As your palm meets the skin, your hand energy center begins to hum. This is no mere contact of flesh, but an activation of priestly remembrance, of when hands were used not only to touch, but to transmit frequencies of healing and direction. Begin to spiral your hand gently over the solar plexus, clockwise, with reverence. With each rotation, you are awakening the vortex, stirring the great solar wheel that governs digestion not only of food, but of experience, memory, and unseen energy. Breathe into the belly. Feel it respond, not only in the flesh, but in the spirit. The gut-brain, woven in ancient neural pathways, begins to receive your frequency. Now spiral in an intention, as the mystics once did, not as a thought alone, but as a sacred charge. I spiral in the fire of clarity. I spiral in the energy of trust. I spiral in the gold of divine confidence. I spiral in the harmony of inner knowing. These are not mere affirmations, they are GLYPHs encoded in light, drawn into the spinning vortex. The solar plexus digests them. It turns them, like the priests turned sacred scrolls, transmuting words into vibration, and vibration into life. Your gut, this ancient oracle within, receives the encoded intentions and harmonizes itself with them. Your enteric mind begins to vibrate in that new rhythm, creating peace where there was chaos, direction where there was confusion, will where there was doubt. You are tuning your inner sun to shine in a chosen spectrum. Breathe in this golden glow. Feel your gut soften, your breath deepen, your sense of self solidify in sacred strength. And know that with every spiral of the hand upon the belly, you are returning to a forgotten lineage, of healers, mystics, and solar alchemists who knew the gut was not only for digestion, but for destiny. Contemplate now the ancient temple not built with hands, but formed within the living architecture of your being. Within this temple burns a golden fire, deep in the belly, just above the navel, where sages of old once bowed in reverence to the unseen sun. This is the solar plexus energy center, Manipura, the shining city, a spinning vortex of luminous power and sacred digestion. It is not merely a center of energy, it is the crucible of transformation, where light meets will, and where intention becomes form. Long before the intellect rose to dominate, the ancients knew the gut as the first voice of truth. They listened to the stirrings in the belly, the pool of intuition, the contractions of warning, and the ease of alignment. The gut brain, ancient, primal, and wise, communicates in sensation and resonance, processing not only food, but the entire language of energy, emotion, and vibration. Now bring your hand gently to the solar plexus, the seat of this golden vortex. Within your palm lies another center, the hand energy center, a transmitter of intention and divine direction. As your palm meets the belly, a circuit completes. Two centers, one of will, one of transmission, join. Begin now to spiral your hand gently, slowly clockwise, awakening the vortex within. This motion is not arbitrary. It echoes movements made by initiates across centuries, Egyptian priests drawing circles of light, Himalayan adepts tracing solar mandalas, keepers of fire stirring the sacred wheel of life. As you spiral, allow a silent intention to rise. Not a wish, but a frequency. Not a desire, but a tone of being. Let it be something sacred, like I spiral peace into my core. I spiral divine courage into my belly. I spiral clarity, abundance, and sovereignty into my center. Feel the solar plexus receive this offering, not passively, but as a vortex draws the wind, spinning it inward, digesting it into essence. You are feeding the gut brain, not with food, but with vibrational instruction. In this spinning, ancient furnace, the intention is broken down, transmuted, and harmonized into your system. The vortex refines it, the gut brain aligns with it, and your whole being begins to carry its resonance. This is not imagination. This is the original alchemy, the knowing that energy can be digested, that emotion can be refined, that intention can take root in the gut and become living direction. So spiral slowly. Feel the golden wheel respond. Feel the breath deepen. Feel the harmony settle into your nervous system as the gut-brain reorganizes itself in the frequency you have chosen. Remain here, in reverence, and remember, you are not simply influencing the body, you are entering the mysteries of the living temple within. And the solar plexus, this sun in the center of your being, will carry your intention forward as a beacon of will, purpose, and radiant harmony. In the sacred traditions of old, long before coins were struck or paper bore promise, wealth was first understood as energy. A current. A divine inheritance that flowed from the unseen realms, through the body, through the breath, and especially through the belly, the seat of will, intuition, and inner fire. The solar plexus energy center, Manipura, has always been the golden gate of power, purpose, and provision. This is the spinning vortex of the inner sun, residing just above the navel, where spirit meets matter and will meets flow. It is no accident that the gut governs not only digestion of food, but also the digestion of emotion, belief, and abundance. To harmonize the solar plexus is to restore your capacity to receive. To align this energy center is to open the gateway of manifestation, not from striving, but from deep internal coherence. Bring your hand now to rest upon your gut, where the fire of ancient gold still turns. This place has been honored in mystical lineages across time, in the temples of Egypt, in Vedic sciences, in the sacred rites of initiates who knew that the center of power was also the center of provision. Begin to move the hand in a slow, intentional spiral. This is not mere motion. It is the activation of the hand energy center, a transmitter of light, of command, of sacred charge. Each spiral carries a message to the vortex: align with prosperity. Digest all fear of lack. Center divine abundance in my being. And so you spiral, and the golden wheel responds. This spinning sun does not merely absorb your intention, it refines it. It digests it in the same way the gut digests nourishment, extracting essence, discarding illusion, and weaving the frequency of your desire into the fibers of your energy field. You are not simply thinking of wealth. You are feeding it into the body. You are offering it to the gut brain, that ancient seat of knowing that feels truth before it is spoken. In this moment, as the hand rotates and the belly responds, financial blessings are no longer outside of you. They are within you, turning in golden rhythm with the sun of your center. You are harmonizing your body with the vibration of wealth, not just for yourself, but for all that your field touches. For wealth is not possession. It is presence, and the solar plexus is where that presence becomes embodied. Let the breath deepen. Feel the spiral become still. Feel the warmth of your hand, the calm in your gut, the glow of intention now centered in the vortex. And remember this: when the solar sun spins in harmony with divine intention, your life becomes fertile ground for blessings to root, rise, and overflow. So be it. Across the veils of time, Through temples etched in stone and scrolls inked in sacred breath, the ancients knew, the word is power. And the body is the altar upon which the word becomes form. They spoke their blessings not into empty air, but into the womb of the body, into breath, into belly, into being. At the core of this practice stands the solar plexus energy center, Manipura, the city of shining jewels, a spinning vortex of fire and intention anchored within the gut, where instinct and intuition reside. This is the place where energy becomes will, where vibration becomes momentum, where words, spoken with sacred force, are digested into the structure of the self. Now, come into stillness. Bring your hand gently to the solar plexus, just above the navel. This is not just flesh and skin, this is a gateway, a portal through which the unseen flows into the seen. As your hand meets this sacred center, feel the hand energy center awaken. It, too, spins, ancient, intelligent, sensitive to frequency. As above, so below. As the stars spiral in the heavens, so too do the energy centers within. Begin now to rotate your hand in a slow, clockwise spiral, and with each spiral, speak the word, blessing. Feel the word enter the palm, traveling into the gut, descending into the golden whirlpool of the solar plexus. Each repetition, blessing, 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 is not just a word, but a vibrational key. And as you continue to spiral the hand, you are writing this key into the spinning code of your inner sun. Say now your affirmations as if they are eternal truths. I am blessed. I am filled with blessings. Every cell in my body receives divine blessings now. I digest only what is holy, what is light, what uplifts. And feel, truly feel, the solar vortex absorb these affirmations. It is digesting them, like sacred nourishment, breaking them down into frequencies, assigning them to the nervous system, teaching the gut-brain a new rhythm. The gut, this ancient intelligence wired with over 500 million neurons, begins to synchronize with the vibration of blessing. No longer wired for fear, for lack, for survival, but tuned now to reception, peace, and divine provision. In this sacred act, you are doing what sages once did in silence, encoding the body with the frequency of heaven. You are not only aiding digestion in the physical sense, you are digesting words of light, making them flesh, embedding them within the very spin of your being. This is the alchemy of sound and center. This is the remembrance of the inner temple. So continue your spiral, until the hand becomes still, and the gut hums quietly like a golden drum, steady, radiant, filled with the echo of blessing. And as you return to your day, know this, the word you speak in sacred union with the body never fades. It lives in the spin of your solar sun, and from this center, it radiates out, calling more blessings to bless you still. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy associated with the gut. As we rotate the hand energy center on the gut with blessing words and affirmations, we not only aid digestion, but also center and harmonize those vibrations within the gut brain, attuning it to that frequency. The altar beneath the ribs in the sacred temples of antiquity, the solar plexus was known as the altar beneath the ribs, a place where divine fire burned. To spiral your hand with the word blessing here is to offer your intentions to that fire. As the vortex spins, the word is consumed, digested, and radiated as light. The spiral of the ancients mystics of old traced spun into the air, sand, and skin, knowing that all creation begins in rotation. When you spiral your hand energy center upon your gut while speaking words of blessing, you re-enter that ancient current, aligning your gut brain with the primal motion of life itself. The word becomes frequency in many traditions. It is written that in the beginning was the word. And when that word is blessing, spoken over the belly, the spinning vortex of the solar plexus translates it, not into thought, but into vibration, weaving it into the very substance of your being. The solar scroll, the solar plexus, is like a sacred scroll that records what is spoken over it. Each spiral of the hand, each spoken blessing, becomes a line of golden script impressed upon the gut brain. What you record here will echo in the rhythms of your thoughts, choices, and manifestations. The gut as the first temple long before intellect, the gut was the guide. It felt danger, trust, alignment, and grace. When you place your hand upon it and bless it aloud, you restore reverence to the first temple, the temple of knowing without words. Gold upon gold, the solar plexus shines with golden light. When you speak blessings here, you are layering gold upon gold, vibration upon vibration, until your core gleams with the frequency of divine favor. The gut brain, once anxious, now becomes a vessel of peace. The digestive fire of spirit in Vedic teachings, the Agni, digestive fire, is sacred. It digests not only food but experience and emotion. When you bless this center with words, the fire does not burn, it refines. Your intentions become nourishment, metabolized into courage, clarity, and divine direction. The hand as oracle, the hand energy center is an oracle in motion. It knows how to transmit. When you spiral your palm over the gut and say I am blessed, the hand speaks what the gut understands, frequency. The solar vortex opens to receive, and your nervous system realigns accordingly. Breath, word, and spin, three sacred forces converge: breath, word, and rotation. Each breath infuses your words with life. Each word activates the spiral. And each spiral deepens the imprint. The gut brain does not resist, it listens. It adapts. It harmonizes with the blessing you've chosen. The sun within the body, the solar plexus, is your inner sun, and just as the outer sun governs life, this one governs your personal radiance. Bless it, and you bless the radiance that moves through every organ, every cell, every impulse. This sun, once dimmed by stress or fear, begins to blaze again. Rewriting the inner script the gut remembers. It stores not only nutrition but impressions, trauma, and belief. When you spiral your hand with sacred affirmations, *I am supported, I receive abundance, I am blessed, * you are rewriting the inner script, retraining the body to expect divine flow. Tuning the instrument of will, the solar plexus is the instrument of will and action. When misaligned, it resists life. When harmonized with blessing, it becomes decisive, clear, and powerful. Blessing this center with intentional spiral attunes the will to divine timing and purpose. The radiance of the ancients, in many mystical traditions, radiant bellies were seen as a mark of spiritual power, not excess. A glowing core was proof that one lived in harmony with heaven and earth. To bless your belly is to return to this wisdom, reclaiming the sacred heat of life itself. From word to world, words spiral into the gut, and the gut rotate them into action. You do not just speak blessings, you metabolize them. As the vortex digests the sound, it sends signals outward. The world responds to the signals of your frequency. What you bless, blesses you back. A sanctuary of light. When the hand energy center rotates with reverence, when the breath slows, and the word blessing fills the gut, the body becomes a sanctuary. The solar plexus, once reactive, becomes responsive, radiant, and wise. In this state, the gut brain no longer grasps, it glows. Let these contemplations deepen your awareness and practice. Each time you place your hand upon your gut with the word blessing, you are not merely speaking, you are remembering, activating, and realigning with the divine design that has always lived within you. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy associated with the gut. By rotating the hand energy center on the gut while speaking words and affirmations of blessings, we both aid digestion and center those sacred vibrations within the vortex, harmonizing the gut brain into that frequency of blessing. The navel of the world. In many ancient cultures, the navel was called the center of the world, the umbilical point through which divine life flowed. As you spiral your hand over the gut and speak blessings, you reactivate this cosmic center, allowing the vortex to receive and radiate your sacred intent. Spiral of the sun priests. The priests of Ra and the solar initiates of old traced spin over their bellies in morning rituals, aligning their bodies with the orbit of the sun. When you spiral the hand energy center over the solar plexus and speak blessing, you synchronize your gut brain with the celestial rhythm of abundance and harmony. Digesting divine light. The ancient mystics taught that the body digests not only food, but light, in the form of thoughts, words, and vibrations. Speaking words of blessing over the solar plexus allows this golden vortex to break down the frequency of the blessing and send it into the blood as living prayer. The sacred union of word and body. The word is the seed, and the body is the fertile earth. When the hand energy center moves in spiral and the mouth utters blessing, these two powers unite. The solar plexus spins and draws that seed deep into the gut, where it becomes part of your living essence. The golden wheel within. In esoteric teachings, the solar plexus is a golden wheel, spinning with the force of will, vitality, and spiritual digestion. When you speak blessings over this wheel, you feed it sacred fire. The gut brain then harmonizes its impulses to the frequency you've offered, recalibrating your life from the inside out. The word as food. In sacred scripture, it is written, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." When you speak words of blessing over your gut, you offer it heavenly food. The solar plexus digests this word and harmonizes the inner fire with divine will. Womb of the will. The gut is the womb of your personal will. When you lay your hand upon it and rotate with intention, you activate its memory of divine purpose. As blessings are spoken, this womb accepts and gestates them, giving birth to actions and outcomes aligned with sacred intent. Voice of the inner oracle. Before language, there was sensation. The gut brain spoke in feeling, in vibration. When you spiral the hand energy center and speak blessings, the gut responds, not with logic, but with knowing. It harmonizes your whole system to move in truth, in alignment, in grace. The spiral as script. In the mystery schools, the spiral was a sacred script, the language of life. When you trace rotations over your solar plexus while repeating affirmations of blessing, you inscribe this frequency into the body's etheric record. The gut receives it, digests it, and radiates it through the nervous system. Fire of transmutation. The solar plexus holds the fire of transmutation. Just as it digests food into energy, it also burns through old frequencies. By speaking blessings and spiraling the hand over this fire, you give it new instruction, inviting it to release fear and convert your field into a vessel of divine receptivity. Harmonizing the two suns. There is a sun above, and a sun within. The outer sun gives warmth, the inner sun gives will. When you rotate the hand energy center and speak blessings over your solar plexus, the inner sun begins to glow in resonance with the cosmic sun. Your gut brain becomes a mirror of celestial harmony. The priesthood of the hand. In ancient times, the hands were seen as sacred instruments, extensions of divine will. Your hand energy center, when consciously spiraled over the gut, becomes like the staff of the high priest, channeling spiritual blessing into the spinning vortex of the solar plexus. Embodying the sacred word. Mystics didn't just say the sacred word, they became it. When you repeat blessings like I am blessed, I radiate grace, abundance flows through me while spiraling your hand, the gut receives the word as living truth. You are not merely affirming, you are encoding your very chemistry. The gut as a resonant instrument. The gut is like a sacred drum, designed to resonate with certain frequencies. When you spin your hand energy center with the rhythm of your voice, speaking blessings, you retune the gut to the vibration of prosperity, peace, and divine provision. Temple of inner blessing. Your body is a temple, and the solar plexus is its lamp of inner fire. Each hand spiral, each blessing spoken over your gut, is like pouring oil into this lamp. The light brightens. The vortex spins in harmony. The gut brain remembers, I am sacred. I am blessed. I am whole. These contemplations are not merely poetic, they are spiritual practices encoded in mystery, ancient memory, and energetic truth. When done with presence, each hand spiral and word of blessing becomes a ritual act, repatterning the solar vortex and aligning the gut brain with the divine frequency of blessings. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy associated with the gut. By rotating the hand energy center on the gut with the word and affirmations of blessings, we both aid digestion and center those vibrations within the vortex, thereby harmonizing the gut brain into that frequency. The solar vortex and the blessing flame. In the wisdom of ancient priesthoods, the solar plexus was regarded as the inner sun, a living flame that digests both food and frequency. When you spiral your hand over it while speaking blessings, you feed that sacred fire with divine intention. The gut, as keeper of instinct, absorbs the vibration and radiates it through your life. The gut, seat of the forgotten oracle. Long before thought formed words, the gut spoke in sensation, guiding the ancients through life with a silent knowing. By speaking blessings into the solar plexus vortex and spiraling the hand energy center with reverence, we awaken the forgotten oracle within, aligning intuition with sacred intelligence. Spiral of the word made flesh. In every sacred tradition, the spiral is a glyph of creation. As you rotate the hand energy center upon your gut, uttering words of blessing, you inscribe those frequencies into the spinning code of the solar plexus. The gut digests the blessing as energy, integrating it into the flesh, the blood, the will. The fire altar of the midbody. The solar plexus was once seen as the altar of transformation, where desire was offered to divine fire. When you bless this altar with words of grace, you do not merely hope, you transmute. The gut receives the blessing like flame receives oil and burns with renewed radiance. Harmonizing the second brain. Modern science calls it the enteric nervous system, mystics call it the gut brain. It feels before the mind can speak. When you spiral your hand while repeating I am blessed, this ancient brain begins to synchronize with the frequency of truth, safety, and divine inheritance. The gold of the inner sun. Manipura, the solar plexus, means city of jewels. It is the treasury of inner light. Each blessing spiraled into this center is like offering gold to gold. The gut digests the luminous word and re-emerges as strength, clarity, and inner sovereignty. Digesting the sacred word. Scripture says the word is life. Ancient mystics knew, if the body is the vessel, then the gut is the seat of divine digestion. When you speak blessing, peace, or abundance into the solar plexus, it is metabolized into your energetic field, becoming part of your being. The spiral staff of healing. In many traditions, healers traced rotations over the body to realign energy. When you spiral the hand energy center upon your gut and speak sacred affirmations, you wield the staff of healing. You command the gut brain to harmonize with the word and to broadcast that signal through every cell. Inner radiance, outer reality. As the solar plexus spins in harmony with spoken blessings, your perception of reality shifts. What was once tension becomes trust. What was once fear becomes fire. The gut-brain aligns the body's rhythms to receive what it believes. Speak blessings, and the body believes. Circles within circles. The hand energy center is a wheel. The solar plexus is a wheel. When one spins above the other in the name of blessing, a sacred alignment occurs. This creates a gateway, an energetic current between intention and embodiment, between heaven and the belly. The gut as guardian of the word. In ancient rites, sacred scrolls were protected by keepers. Your gut is the guardian of the words you feed it. When you spiral blessings into its center, it holds them, digests them, and becomes a living manuscript, carrying their power in every organ, every movement. From chaos to coherence, a scattered mind begins in an ungrounded gut. But when the solar plexus is blessed, when the hand energy center rotates with intention, coherence is restored. The gut brain stops broadcasting signals of fear, and begins pulsing with trust, alignment, and creative strength. The sacred pulse of intention. The spiral is not just movement, it is rhythm. As you spiral your hand and speak blessings, you return your gut brain to the original sacred pulse, the beat of divine intention. In this rhythm, digestion quickens, clarity sharpens, and intuition rises like dawn. Turning the wheel of providence. To bless the solar plexus is to turn the wheel of providence within you. The ancients knew, the inner sun governs outer fortune. Each word of blessing is like a gear within the divine machinery, tuning your gut to become a magnet of what you now embody. Sanctifying the center of will. The solar plexus governs will, choice, action, direction. But will without blessing is force without light. When you spiral the hand energy center on the gut and repeat, I am blessed, my center is sacred, you sanctify the place from which decisions arise. Will becomes wisdom. Action becomes alignment. These contemplations invite you to remember that your gut is not just biological, it is mystical. The solar plexus is the altar, the vortex is the fire, and your hand and voice are the sacred tools. Through rotation and the word of blessing, you engage in a ritual as old as the stars, returning yourself to the center of harmony, radiant will, and divine frequency. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy associated with the gut. As we rotate the hand energy center upon the gut with the word and affirmations of blessings, we not only aid digestion, but also center those vibrations within the vortex, harmonizing the gut brain into that frequency of divine resonance. The inner sun of ancient power. In the sacred temples of Lemuria and Kemet, initiates were taught that the belly held a miniature sun, an inner radiance that digested not only food, but reality itself. As the hand energy center rotates and the word blessing is spoken, this solar engine is kindled, harmonizing the body's deepest knowing. The spiral of the high priest. The spiral, carved into ancient staffs and temple walls, was not art, it was a formula. When you rotate your hand over the solar plexus with affirmations of blessing, you activate this ancient spiral within the body. The gut brain responds, aligning your being with sacred rhythm and order. The gut as Grail. The gut was seen by mystics as the true Holy Grail, holding the capacity to transmute vibration into form. When we spiral blessings into this center, we drink from the inner cup of light, allowing the frequency of those blessings to nourish the nervous system and spirit. Blessing as etheric nourishment. To the mystics of Tibet, blessings were considered energetic food. By placing the hand on the gut and spiraling with sacred affirmations, we offer this nourishment to the digestive fire, allowing the solar plexus to metabolize divinity into the tissues of the body. Engraving light into the core. The solar plexus is like a radiant disk, spinning in the deep vault of the body. When the hand energy center moves upon it with the word blessed, that frequency is etched into the golden wheel, an engraving of light, sending out new commands to the enteric brain and the entire energy field. The fire at the navel gate in Vedic and Taoist traditions, the navel is seen as a gate to the life force. When we spiral our hand and speak words of grace into this portal, the digestive fire awakens, not only to process food, but to transmute affirmation into pranic reality. Spiral as sacred offering. The spiral is the gesture of galaxies, hurricanes, and sacred rituals. When the hand energy center spins above the solar plexus, it becomes an offering bowl. Blessings spoken aloud are received by the gut brain as sacred codes, translating vibration into stability, courage, and inner guidance. The word as living medicine. In ancient healing temples, words were sung over the body like medicine. When you speak blessings over the solar plexus and spiral your hand energy center, those words are digested into the bloodstream. The gut brain hears the frequency and harmonizes your entire inner ecosystem. Rewriting the gut script. The gut brain carries the memory of every fear, doubt, and hunger. But it is also the place of rebirth. With the spiral of the hand and the affirmation I am blessed, we rewrite the internal script, clearing centuries of inherited survival patterning and replacing it with sacred abundance. The center of radiant will. The solar plexus governs will, choice, and personal power. When we rotate the hand energy center with words like I am blessed, I am supported, we tune that power not through ego, but through divine flow, aligning the gut brain to carry out actions infused with grace. Remembering the golden core. Mystery schools taught that the solar plexus was a golden core that dimmed with fear and brightened with truth. Speaking blessings into this core is a remembrance. The vortex spins open. The gut, the ancient listener, begins to vibrate with the certainty of divine protection. Spiraling back to divine order. The spiral motion reconnects the body with natural, cosmic order. When the hand energy center rotates over the gut, and the affirmation of blessing is repeated, chaos is unwound. Digestion calms. Thoughts clear. The gut brain, once reactive, becomes receptive to the higher design. Waking. The oracle within the gut was revered as the body's silent oracle, able to perceive truth without words. When we bless it aloud and spiral the hand energy center over its gate, we awaken its voice. It begins to pulse with knowing. And in its language of sensation, it echoes back, you are blessed. Blessing. The fire of discernment. The fire of the solar plexus doesn't only digest food, it discerns truth. When we speak affirmations into the spin of this center, we anoint our discernment with divine frequency. The gut brain no longer reacts, it chooses. It knows. It flows in resonance with blessing. Becoming a living spiral of blessing. When hand, word, breath, and intention join, you become a living spiral of light. The solar plexus spins. The gut harmonizes. The body no longer just functions, it radiates. The blessing becomes cellular. The frequency becomes form. And you, a temple, walk blessed upon the earth. These contemplations are more than reflections, they are doorways. Engaging the solar plexus vortex with hand energy center spinning and the spoken word of blessing is a sacred act, echoing the rituals of old and aligning the gut brain, the ancient inner oracle, with the high frequency of divine wholeness, peace, and radiant provision. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy associated with the gut. As we rotate the hand energy center on the gut with the word and affirmations of blessings, we not only aid digestion, but also center those vibrations within the vortex, harmonizing the gut brain into that frequency, the vortex of divine fire. In ancient Vedic wisdom, the solar plexus, Manipura, was known as the city of shining jewels, a seat of fire. Rotating the hand energy center with blessing over this center is like tending an inner flame. The gut digests food, but also emotion and spirit. Each blessing spoken becomes sacred fuel. The gut as oracle in the mystery schools of Delphi and Egypt, the gut was viewed as the first mind, the intuitive brain. When the hand rotates over the solar plexus and the word blessed is breathed into the gut, it reawakens this ancient oracle. You no longer just feel, you know through resonance. The spiral of initiation throughout the ages, rotations were symbols of initiation, into truth, energy, and divine cycles. As your hand traces this spiral over your gut, with blessings as your mantra, you enter a forgotten temple of inner alchemy, where digestion is prayer and the vortex spins with meaning. Alchemy of the inner sun to the alchemists, the belly held the inner sun, the hidden gold. With each spiral and blessing, you polish this gold. The gut, a crucible of transformation, refines your vibration, aligning the physical and energetic digestion with divine provision. The Word made flesh in mystical Christianity, the idea that the Word became flesh lives within the solar plexus. The spoken blessing enters the spinning vortex and takes form in your body's core. Digestion eases. Thought clarifies. Your entire being becomes a vessel for the living word of grace. The gut scrolls. Ancient Kabbalistic teachings speak of scrolls written upon the inward parts. These are energetic instructions encoded within the gut. With the hand energy center spiral and the repeated blessing, you rewrite those inner scrolls, engraving a new divine script into your nervous system. Harmonizing the lion within the solar plexus has been symbolized as the lion's gate, powerful, protective, raw. When approached with love and blessing, the lion bows. The gut's instincts soften into wisdom, and your strength becomes aligned with the frequency of peace, trust, and divine intelligence. A bowl of light. Polynesian mystics spoke of the bowl of light within each person. This bowl rests in the gut. With every spiral of your hand and affirmation of blessing, light is poured into this bowl, restoring clarity, alignment, and grace within your inner temple. The fire that remembers, the digestive fire, Agni, was honored in ancient texts as the priest of transformation. When you spiral your hand and speak blessing into this sacred fire, it does more than digest food, it remembers your divine nature, and aligns the gut-brain to reflect it back to you. The threefold temple. The body is a threefold temple: mind, heart, and gut. The gut is the gatekeeper of grounding. By blessing it, spiraling over it, you restore the temple's foundation. The vortex spins in harmony, and you walk through the world centered, embodied, and aligned. Digesting the invisible. The mystics knew we digest more than bread. We digest emotions, dreams, and vibrations. The hand energy center, spinning gently with words of blessing, aids this digestion, helping the body process even the unseen. The gut-brain sighs in relief, aligned to blessing rather than burden. The anointing of the belly. In ancient healing rites, the belly was anointed with oil and sacred words. The spiral of your hand is the anointing. The word blessing is the oil. The gut receives this sacred touch, harmonizing with the divine frequency, restoring trust in life, nourishment, and divine support. Spiral as divine technology. The spiral, present in galaxies and shells, was viewed as divine technology by mystics. When mirrored with the hand over the gut, it activates this sacred geometry within. The vortex receives your spoken blessings and transcodes them into cellular language the gut-brain understands. Tuning the body instrument. Your body is a stringed instrument, and the solar plexus is one of its tuning keys. As the hand energy center rotates with the word I am blessed, it tunes the gut like a harp, resonating with harmony. Digestion, emotion, and intuition all begin to sing in one blessed tone. The return of the sacred core. The gut is your sacred core, and in many ancient cultures it was revered as a seat of soul memory. When you spiral blessings into this center, you awaken remembrance. The vortex spins with ancient rhythm. The gut-brain realigns. You become a living temple of blessing once more. Let these contemplations be meditated upon slowly, as seeds of remembrance. Each time you rotate the hand energy center over the gut, speaking the word blessing, you are participating in an ancient lineage of energy medicine, spiritual alignment, and vibrational communion with the divine core within. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy associated with the gut, and as we rotate the hand energy center on the gut with the word and affirmations of blessings, we not only aid digestion but also center those vibrations within the vortex, harmonizing the gut-brain into that frequency. When we place a hand on the gut, and since ancient times, the solar plexus has been revered as the seat of inner fire, the sacred vortex where divine energy spins in harmony with the guts. Wisdom. Rotating the hand with blessings over this center awakens the alchemical dance between body and spirit, healing both digestion and intention simultaneously. When we place a hand on the gut, and mystics of old taught that the gut is a second brain, an ancient sanctuary of primal knowing. The spinning vortex of the solar plexus is the gatekeeper of this wisdom. As the hand energy center rotates with blessings, it aligns the gut-brain's frequency, allowing intuitive clarity to emerge through sacred resonance. When we place a hand on the gut, and the spiral, symbol of eternity and transformation, reflects the sacred movement of the solar plexus vortex. When the hand energy center circles with affirmations of blessing, it echoes the cosmic spiral, inviting the gut to process not only food but divine intention, harmonizing body and soul. When we place a hand on the gut, and in the traditions of energy medicine, the gut's spinning vortex mirrors the cosmic dance of creation. Blessings spoken into this vortex become sacred prayers, centering and elevating the vibration of digestion, transmuting physical nourishment into spiritual sustenance. When we place a hand on the gut, and the solar plexus is the ancient fire of transformation, the sacred forge within the belly. Rotating the hand energy center with affirmations stokes this fire with blessing, harmonizing the gut-brain's energetic pulse and catalyzing a deeper alchemy of body, mind, and spirit. When we place a hand on the gut, and historical healers recognized the gut as the seat of vital energy, where the spinning vortex of the solar plexus channels life force. By gently rotating the hand and infusing this center with words of blessing, we awaken the ancient currents of divine energy, aligning physical digestion with spiritual grace. When we place a hand on the gut, and the gut-brain, known as the enteric nervous system, speaks a language of vibration and rhythm. The spinning solar plexus vortex is its sacred amplifier. As the hand energy center circles with blessing, it tunes this instrument, enabling the body to sing in harmony with divine intention. When we place a hand on the gut, and in many spiritual lineages, the solar plexus vortex is the gateway between primal instinct and conscious will. Blessing this center through gentle rotation of the hand energy center invokes a sacred union, harmonizing the gut's innate intelligence with the higher frequencies of blessing. When we place a hand on the gut, and the spinning vortex of the solar plexus mirrors the eternal wheel of life and transformation. As hand energy center movement infuses this center with blessing, it turns the wheel inward, aligning the gut-brain's energy with the divine current flowing through all creation. When we place a hand on the gut, and the ancient yogis saw the gut as a sacred vessel where energy is refined and purified. Rotating the hand energy center over the solar plexus with affirmations of blessing supports this purification, allowing the spinning vortex to center itself in the frequency of sacred abundance. When we place a hand on the gut and blessing the solar plexus vortex is an invocation of ancestral wisdom, connecting the gut brain to the timeless flow of life's energy. As the hand energy center rotate, it calls forth the vibration of blessing to settle within, harmonizing digestion and intention in sacred balance. When we place a hand on the gut and the solar plexus vortex is a sacred energy wheel whose motion reflects the harmony of body and spirit. The rotation of the hand energy center with words of blessing is a ritual of realignment, weaving the gut brain into a tapestry of grace and divine rhythm. When we place a hand on the gut and historically, the gut has been honored as the cradle of courage and vitality. By rotating the hand energy center with blessing, we awaken this primal force, centering it within the spinning vortex and harmonizing the gut-brain's frequency with sacred strength and peace. When we place a hand on the gut and the spinning vortex of the solar plexus is a microcosm of cosmic cycles. The gentle rotation of the hand energy center with affirmations is a prayer that synchronizes the gut-brain's rhythm to the pulse of the universe, restoring harmony between earthly nourishment and spiritual blessing. When we place a hand on the gut and in the heart of ancient wisdom lies the truth that blessing is a vibration capable of transformation. As the hand energy center rotates on the solar plexus, infused with affirmations, it enfolds the gut brain in sacred vibration, healing digestion and centering the soul's intentions within the eternal vortex. Each contemplation invites you to feel the sacred connection between the physical and the spiritual, the gut brain and the solar plexus vortex, enlivened and harmonized by your intentional blessings and the rotation of your hand energy center. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy connected to the gut, and as we rotate the hand energy center on the gut with the word and affirmations of blessings, we not only aid digestion but also center those vibrations within the vortex, harmonizing the gut brain into that frequency. When we place a hand on the gut, and since ancient times, sages have known the solar plexus as a radiant vortex, the very hearth of inner fire where life force spins and breathes. As the hand energy center turns gently over the gut with blessings, it fans this sacred flame, harmonizing the gut's wisdom with divine grace. When we place a hand on the gut, and the gut, called the second brain in sacred texts, houses primal intelligence encoded in a swirling vortex of energy. By rotating the hand energy center over this center with affirmations of blessing, we awaken this deep knowing, aligning the gut brain to the sacred vibration of health and peace. When we place a hand on the gut and across cultures, the spiral is a symbol of cosmic evolution and transformation. The solar plexus's spinning vortex echoes this spiral. When the hand energy center moves with blessing over the gut, it mirrors this eternal dance, centering body and spirit in the rhythm of divine harmony. When we place a hand on the gut, and in the alchemical traditions, the solar plexus vortex is the crucible where the soul's fire refines physical matter. Each rotation of the hand energy center, uttering affirmations of blessing, stokes this inner forge, transmuting the raw energy of digestion into spiritual nourishment. When we place a hand on the gut, and ancient healers recognized the gut as a sacred vessel, spinning energy that governs courage and vitality. Rotating the hand energy center with blessings upon the solar plexus invites a sacred tuning, an attunement of the gut brain that harmonizes primal instinct with divine frequency. When we place a hand on the gut, and the solar plexus vortex is the meeting place of breath, fire, and intention. As the hand energy center rotate over the belly with affirmations of blessings, it aligns the enteric nervous system with higher consciousness, creating a temple where digestion becomes prayer. When we place a hand on the gut, and mystics say the gut is the repository of ancestral memory and intuition. By rotating the hand energy center on the solar plexus while speaking blessings, we center these ancient vibrations within the vortex, restoring the harmony of gut, brain and spirit. When we place a hand on the gut, and the spinning vortex of the solar plexus is a wheel of sacred transformation, turning in sync with the cycles of life. As the hand energy center moves in deliberate circles with affirmations, it imbues the gut with vibrations of peace, strength, and alignment. When we place a hand on the gut and in sacred geometry, the spiral is a conduit between worlds. The solar plexus vortex is this conduit within the body. The rotation of the hand energy center, paired with blessings, opens a gateway, harmonizing the gut-brain's frequency with divine intelligence. When we place a hand on the gut, and the gut's sacred fire, Agni, is kindled by breath and intention. The hand energy center's spiral, combined with affirmations of blessing, nurtures this fire, aiding physical digestion and centering the gut's energetic vortex in harmony with cosmic rhythms. When we place a hand on the gut and in spiritual teachings, blessing is vibration made manifest. When the hand energy center rotates on the solar plexus, pronouncing blessings, the gut brain absorbs this frequency, transmuting digestion into an act of sacred alignment and inner peace. When we place a hand on the gut, and the solar plexus vortex is the sacred axis where spirit and matter meet. Through the gentle spinning of the hand energy center with affirmations, this axis becomes a channel for divine blessing, harmonizing the gut-brain's energetic dance with the cosmic flow. When we place a hand on the gut, and the gut, known as the seat of courage, resonates deeply within the solar plexus vortex. Rotating the hand energy center there with blessings calls forth this courage, centering the gut-brain's frequency on strength, clarity, and sacred intention. When we place a hand on the gut, and ancient traditions taught that rotating sacred energy in the belly aligns the self with universal rhythms. The hand energy centers spiral over the solar plexus, accompanied by blessings, entrains the gut-brain's vibration to a field of healing and abundance. When we place a hand on the gut, and the solar plexus vortex is a living spiral of divine energy. Each turn of the hand energy center with blessings weaves this spiral tighter, centering and harmonizing the gut-brain's wisdom with the eternal frequency of life's sacred blessing. These contemplations invite reflection on the sacred relationship between the body's core energy vortex and the spiritual power of blessing and intention, revealing the gut-brain as a vibrant center of harmony and transformation. The solar plexus energy center is a spinning vortex of energy associated with the gut, and as we rotate the hand energy center on the gut with the word and affirmations of blessings, we not only aid digestion but also center those vibrations within the vortex, harmonizing the gut-brain into that frequency. From ancient wisdom traditions, the solar plexus is seen as a sacred spinning vortex, the fiery center where spirit and matter intertwine. When the hand energy center rotates upon the gut with blessings, it ignites this vortex, harmonizing the primal gut-brain with the divine rhythm of life. The gut has long been regarded as the body's second brain, a complex energy center encoded with ancestral memory. As the hand energy center circles over the solar plexus with words of blessing, it infuses the vortex with sacred vibration, aligning the gut's energy field to healing and grace. Mystics understood the solar plexus as a luminous wheel of transformation, spinning in sync with cosmic cycles. The rotation of the hand energy center with affirmations of blessings weaves sacred light into this vortex, centering the gut-brain in frequencies of peace and balance. In ancient spiritual practices, the spiral symbolizes the eternal flow of creation. The solar plexus's vortex mirrors this cosmic spiral, and by rotating the hand energy center with blessings, we deepen the resonance between gut intelligence and the universal pulse. The solar plexus vortex is the crucible of inner fire, where energies combust and transmute. As we turn the hand energy center with affirmations of blessings, this alchemical center harmonizes digestion and intention, transforming physical sustenance into spiritual vitality. Long ago, healers knew the power of intentional touch upon the belly. Rotating the hand energy center over the solar plexus with words of blessing channels vital life force into the gut brain, centering it within the sacred vortex of energetic balance. The gut brain's wisdom is encoded in subtle vibrations within the solar plexus vortex. Blessings uttered while rotating the hand energy center awaken these vibrations, creating a harmonious dialogue between body, mind, and spirit. The swirling energy of the solar plexus is a microcosm of the universe's creative dance. By rotating the hand energy center on the gut with affirmations of blessing, we attune the gut brain to the divine orchestration of healing and abundance. Ancient yogis taught that the solar plexus is the seat of personal power, a spinning wheel of energy fueling vitality and courage. When we rotate the hand energy center with sacred affirmations, we empower the gut brain to radiate strength and balance throughout the body. The sacred vortex of the solar plexus holds the key to transforming digestion into prayer. As the hand energy center moves in circles with blessings, it anchors the gut brain's frequency in harmony with the unseen currents of divine energy. In the sacred geometry of the body, the solar plexus vortex aligns with the spiral of life's unfolding. Rotating the hand energy center on this center with affirmations weaves the gut brain into the fabric of spiritual healing and energetic flow. The gut brain is a sentinel of both physical and spiritual well-being. When we rotate the hand energy center with words of blessing over the solar plexus, we center its swirling energy, harmonizing digestion and intention into a unified field of grace. The solar plexus vortex is the luminous heart of the body's energetic system, spinning with ancient wisdom. As the hand energy center rotates with affirmations of blessings, it opens the portal through which the gut brain receives and radiates divine harmony. The sacred act of rotating the hand energy center on the gut with blessing is an invocation of healing light into the body's core vortex. This centers the gut brain's vibrations, restoring balance between primal instinct and spiritual insight. The solar plexus, as a spinning vortex of energy, is a sacred gateway linking the gut brain to cosmic wisdom. When we rotate the hand energy center there with words of blessing, we weave intention into the vortex, harmonizing digestion, energy, and spirit as one. These contemplations deeply honor the mystical union of body, spirit, and intention through the sacred energy vortex of the solar plexus and the powerful act of blessing. Emotions are not just reactions, they are frequencies that tune our perception. As we fill with joy, the world brightens. When fear or sadness clouds our hearts, even beauty can go unnoticed. Our experiences are not separate from our emotions, they are reflections of them, colored and cast by the lens through which we perceive. But life, in its complexity, sometimes brings us into difficult moments, painful experiences that fill us with anger, fear, or sorrow. These emotions can root themselves deep within, echoing forward into our days, subtly tuning our perception to expect more of the same. A cycle begins. What we feel, we see. What we see, we respond to. What we respond to, we recreate. And yet, we are not prisoners to this cycle. We are beings of breath, of awareness, of choice. When we place a hand on the gut and pause, and take a deep, conscious breath, something begins to shift. With each inhale, we can choose to breathe in peace. With each exhale, we can choose to release the weight of what no longer serves us. Breathe in calm. Exhale tension. Breathe in love. Exhale fear. Breathe in newness. Exhale the past. The body listens. The nervous system responds. The mind begins to quiet. And the cycle begins to reset. Positive emotions, gratitude, love, hope, joy, are not only feelings, they are signals, guiding our perception toward what is good, possible, and aligned. When we place a hand on the gut and breathe them in, we tune ourselves to a higher rhythm. We begin to notice new pathways, different responses, subtle opportunities. In this way, the breath becomes a doorway. And emotion becomes a brush, painting the canvas of our experience. Choose the colors. Breathe with intention. And slowly, gently, recreate your world, one breath, one emotion, one perception at a time. Emotions are the language of perception. They do not simply pass through us, they shape us. They color the lens through which we interpret life, moment by moment. And deep within the body, the gut, our second brain, feels every emotional vibration. As we experience negative events, our gut often reacts before our mind can understand. It tightens. It holds. It remembers. Negative emotions settle there like heavy echoes, tuning our perception toward fear, doubt, or mistrust. We begin to expect more of what hurt us. And in expecting it, we often find it, again and again. This is the cycle of emotional perception. We feel. We perceive through that feeling. We experience what we perceive. And then we feel more of the same. But this cycle is not fixed. The breath is our key. With each deep, intentional breath, we give our body permission to reset. We become present. We become sovereign. We step out of automatic emotional looping. As we inhale, we can choose to breathe in positive emotions, peace, love, safety, worthiness. We can breathe in words like I am whole, I am safe, I am light. As we exhale, we release what the gut has held too long, fear, grief, tension, shame. Breathe in clarity. Exhale confusion. Breathe in joy. Exhale resentment. Breathe in trust. Exhale control. The gut listens. It begins to soften. The emotional charge quiets. The perception shifts. And as perception shifts, so do the experiences that follow. Each breath becomes a message: you are safe now. You are no longer living in the moment that hurt you. You are free to create something new. In this space, where breath meets emotion and perception softens, we become conscious creators. We reset the cycle, not by force, but through gentle presence and intention. Breathe in the emotions that match the life you desire. Exhale the emotions that no longer align with your becoming. Let your gut brain heal. Let your perception renew. Let your experiences follow. Emotions are not just fleeting sensations, they are messengers, vibrational codes that tune how we perceive the world. They shape the lens through which we view reality, subtly guiding our thoughts, our actions, and the experiences that follow. And deep within us, in the core of our being, lies the gut brain, a center of intuitive intelligence, emotional memory, and silent knowing. It feels everything. It remembers everything. It is where emotions often settle first and stay the longest. As we go through negative experiences, fear, betrayal, rejection, loss, they don't just pass through our minds. They imprint themselves in our gut. The gut tightens. It contracts. It holds on to those feelings like warnings, preparing us for more of the same. And slowly, we begin to perceive life through that lens of emotional memory, expecting struggle, mistrusting joy, bracing for more pain. This is how the cycle forms. Negative emotions tune perception, perception creates experience, experience feeds more negative emotion. But we are not powerless in this cycle. We hold within us the breath. And we hold the word. When we place a hand on the gut and take a slow, intentional breath, and bring with it a positive affirmation, I am safe now, I am loved, I choose peace, we speak directly to the gut brain. We offer it a new pattern. A new signal. A new message. With each inhale, we breathe in truth. With each exhale, we release what is no longer needed. Inhale, I am whole. Exhale, I release fear. Inhale, I am free. Exhale, I let go of old pain. Through this practice, the gut begins to relax. The emotional charge begins to dissolve. The lens of perception clears. And slowly, we step into a new rhythm, where positive emotions create open perception, and open perception creates aligned, uplifting experiences. You are not bound to the emotions of the past. You are not stuck in the story that pain has written. Through your breath, through your affirmations, you can speak to your gut brain and rewrite the code. Breathe in love. Speak peace. Exhale all that dims your light. And from this place of inner renewal, allow yourself to begin again. This is how the cycle resets. This is how you create your life anew. Since ancient times, the wise have spoken of the inner temple, a sacred space within the body where the spirit communes with the divine, and where perception shapes reality. This temple, hidden not in the heights of the intellect but in the depths of the belly, was revered across cultures as the seat of intuition, discernment, and power, the gut brain. In the scrolls of the East, the hara was known as the source of life force. In the Hebrew scriptures, the bowels were seen as the center of compassion and emotion. Mystics understood what modern science now confirms, that the gut is not merely a digestive organ, but an emotional brain, one that feels, remembers, and informs how we see and experience the world. Emotions do not simply pass through us, they embed themselves. They create tension, constriction, and a subconscious expectation of continued struggle. This inner holding distorts our perception. We begin to see the world through the imprint of fear and scarcity. And thus, the cycle begins. Emotions tune perception, perception creates experience, experience reinforces emotion. And in this way, the blessing of abundance, the sacred inheritance spoken of in holy texts, is clouded from view. Not absent, but unseen. But the ancients also taught a way of restoration. Through the sacred breath. Through the living word. When we place a hand on the gut and breathe deeply with intention, we begin to unlock what has been held. When we place a hand on the gut and speak affirmations aligned with divine truth, I am provided for, I am favored, all my needs are met in divine timing, we introduce a new frequency into the gut brain. We rewrite the code. Inhale, I receive the abundance of heaven. Exhale, I release fear and doubt. Inhale, the blessing is within me. Exhale, the past no longer defines me. This is not merely self-soothing, it is spiritual technology. It is the ancient practice of renewing the inner temple. It is how we transform the gut from a storehouse of suffering into a wellspring of divine alignment. For what is financial blessing, if not the outward expression of inner permission? When we place a hand on the gut and feel safe, worthy, and receptive, the doors open. Opportunities become visible. Provision flows. You were not born into this world to toil in fear or be bound by the shadows of lack. You were born of spirit, breathed into being by divine intention, and encoded with the capacity to receive, to flourish, and to bless others through your overflow. Let the breath become your prayer. Let your affirmations become offerings at the altar of your belly. and let the cycle reset, not from striving, but from stillness. The blessing has always been near. Now, it is within. Breathe. Speak. Receive. Our emotions tune our perception. Through deep breathing with affirmations, we can restore the flow of divine abundance. The sacred seat of emotion in ancient traditions, the gut was revered as the seat of divine intuition, the center from which all decisions, alignments, and destinies flowed. When fear takes residence here, we no longer see the open doors. But when we place a hand on the gut and breathe in divine truth and speak words of abundance, we cleanse this sacred seat and restore the lens through which blessings flow. The gut as a living scroll. The gut brain is like a living scroll, recording every experience, every emotion, every wound. Financial lack is often written in its margins as fear and unworthiness. But the breath is the ink of the soul. With every positive affirmation, we begin to rewrite the story etched deep within, turning pages of struggle into chapters of divine provision. Perception as prophecy. What we feel becomes what we see, and what we see becomes what we expect. In this way, perception becomes prophecy. When the gut is heavy with grief, we prophesy more lack. But when we place a hand on the gut and breathe in love, peace, and worthiness, we begin to declare a new future, a future rich in overflow. The divine right of provision from the beginning, divine law declared, "You shall not lack." But this truth must be felt in the body, not just believed in the mind. By breathing in affirmations like "I am supported by the source of all," we help the gut remember what the spirit always knew, that provision is a birthright. The breath of reset. The ancient mystics taught that the breath is the bridge between worlds, the seen and the unseen. Every exhale is a letting go of past pain, and every inhale a return to original truth. By breathing in the light of financial blessing and breathing out the shadows of scarcity, we step into a new rhythm of divine circulation. Unbinding the inner tithes. There are tithes not given in gold, but in emotion. Many have unknowingly offered their peace, their joy, their sense of worth to the gods of fear and survival. But in the stillness of breath, we reclaim those offerings. We restore the altar of the gut brain to its rightful devotion, trust, joy, and divine wealth. The emotional currency of creation. Emotion is currency. It is what we spend into the atmosphere, and what returns to us as experience. When our inner currency is worry, we attract crisis. But when we place a hand on the gut and breathe in gratitude and affirm abundance is already mine, we begin to circulate a divine economy within and around us. The ancestral clearing. Many of us carry financial trauma not just from our own lives, but from generations before. The gut holds the residue of their fears. Through sacred breath and affirmation, we become the intercessors, clearing the ancestral field and making way for new blessings to manifest in our lineages. The manna of now. In ancient times, manna fell from heaven daily. It taught trust. It taught presence. Through mindful breath and the affirmation "I am sustained today," we return to the rhythm of divine daily provision and open ourselves to unexpected miracles. The reversal of the curse. The gut holds what the mind cannot process: shame, fear, despair. These are the true curses, passed from experience to expectation. But with the breath comes the reversal. Each deep inhale of peace, each sacred word of worth, begins to lift the veil and usher in the restoration of divine financial flow. The Word made flesh. Scripture tells us, "In the beginning was the Word." That word is still speaking. When we place a hand on the gut and speak affirmations of abundance with intention and breathe them into the belly, we embody divine truth. The word becomes flesh again, and our very cells begin to align with the frequency of heaven's blessing. The reset of rhythms. Lack trains the nervous system to rush, grasp, and panic. But divine wealth has a rhythm, calm, open, patient. With every breath of affirmation, we entrain the gut brain to a higher rhythm. Slowly, the panic releases. The gut resets. And the body learns how to move with the pace of grace. From holding to flowing, the gut contracts when it remembers pain. It holds. It resists. But abundance is a flow, a current. When we place a hand on the gut and speak words like "I am in the current of divine provision" and breathe through the tightness, the holding softens. And in that softening, the flow returns. The temple of trust. The body is the first temple, and the gut is its inner sanctuary. When this sanctuary is filled with fear, even blessings feel unsafe. But with gentle breath and sacred affirmations, we cleanse this holy space. Trust returns. And with trust, the doors of financial blessings swing wide. The miracle of repatterning. Each breath is a choice. Each affirmation is a key. When combined, they create a miracle, repatterning. The gut brain, once filled with cycles of lack, begins to respond to love. Slowly, the cycle shifts. New experiences arise. What was once trauma becomes testimony. And what was once fear becomes favor. Our emotions tune our perception. Through deep breathing with affirmations, we can reset restore the flow of divine abundance, the inner oracle of provision. In ancient temples, oracles listened not with their ears but with their bodies. The gut, our inner oracle, feels first, interpreting emotional signals long before the mind. When the gut is saturated with fear, it cannot hear the whisper of opportunity. But through sacred breath and blessing words, the oracle is cleared. And once again, we hear the voice of provision. The alchemy of breath and word. Mystics have long known that breath and word together perform alchemy. The exhale releases what no longer belongs. The inhale carries the spirit. When we place a hand on the gut and speak words of abundance, "I receive the inheritance of light," and breathe them into the belly, we transmute emotional lead into gold. The silent covenant of enough. Ancient people walked with the earth, in covenant with the divine to receive what they needed. But trauma writes a new contract, one of fear, survival, never enough. When we place a hand on the gut and breathe deeply and affirm, "I am in sacred covenant with divine supply," we annul the false agreement and return to grace. The sanctuary of the belly. In Hebrew thought, the womb and compassion share the same root, racham. The gut is a sanctuary of divine compassion. When burdened by shame and failure, it closes its gates. But with breath and the blessing of kind words, the gates open. And financial blessings, long held back, begin to flow again. The rebuilding of inner altars. When ancient altars fell, prophets rebuild them stone by stone. So too must we rebuild the inner altar of abundance, damaged by the fires of fear and hardship. With each affirmation, "I am worthy of wealth, I am the seed of blessing," we lay down new stones. And spirit fills the sanctuary once more. The scroll of the gut. The gut is a scroll on which life inscribes its messages. Some are sacred, others are wounds. When we place a hand on the gut and breathe with presence and speak divine truths, we overwrite the scroll with the language of the soul. I am sustained. I am favored. I am whole. Thus, the scroll becomes a record of abundance. The temple of divine circulation. Wealth is not held, it circulates like breath, like spirit. Fear blocks the current. Guilt hoards. But affirmation unblocks the flow. Breathe in, "I am part of the divine exchange." Exhale, "I release the fear of losing." This is how the body becomes the temple of circulation again. The prophetic gut. In ancient times, prophets often fell into deep silence, listening from within. The gut is prophetic when clear. But negative emotion clouds its vision. Breath and affirmation act like sacred fire, burning the fog and reawakening inner sight. The gut then begins to sense pathways to provision once unseen. The Holy Reset Sabbath was not just rest, it was reset. The gut, too, longs for Sabbath from anxiety. When we place a hand on the gut and pause, breathe, and speak truth into our belly, I live in divine timing, there is more than enough, we enter spiritual Sabbath. And in that stillness, new cycles of blessing begin. The sacred pulse of receiving to receive is a rhythm, a divine pulse. Trauma disrupts it, leaving us feeling undeserving or blocked. But ancient wisdom teaches that the breath restores rhythm. With every sacred inhale of affirmation, the gut remembers how to receive again. And the pulse of blessing returns. The purging of false inheritance. Many have inherited not wealth, but emotional patterns of fear around money, generational echoes stored in the belly. But breath and word are cleansing rivers. Speak, I release what is not mine to carry. Breathe it out. And in its place, let divine inheritance arise. The light beneath the ashes. Sometimes, abundance is buried under emotional ashes, disappointments, failures, betrayals. But mystics knew that the divine spark cannot be extinguished. When we place a hand on the gut and breathe deeply and speak blessing, we stir the embers. The gut warms. The perception shifts. And suddenly, provision reappears from the ashes. The echoes of Egypt. Like Israel in Egypt, the gut can remain in bondage long after the body has moved on. Old cycles whisper, there's not enough, there never was. But breath is exodus. Affirmation is deliverance. Each breath in is a crossing of the sea. Each word is manna for the new land. The replanting of inner soil. The gut is holy ground. What we plant there, through emotion and word, grows into experience. Lack is a weed, seeded by fear. But abundance is a fruit, born of peace. Breathe in, I am fertile soil for blessing. Exhale all that chokes the root. And watch what grows. The divine economy within. Long before gold or coins, abundance was understood as a divine economy, an inner richness. Your gut is the vault of that wealth, but it must be opened by trust. Breathe in, I am aligned with heaven's flow. Speak, I am enough to receive. And in that alignment, financial blessings find you. Our emotions shape perception, our gut brain holds deep emotional memory, and through breath and affirmations, we can break cycles of lack and initiate the divine rhythm of abundance. The gut as the ancient storehouse across cultures, the belly has been known as the seat of knowing, a storehouse not only of digestion but of emotional history. Every deep breath and sacred word is a key to this inner storehouse, unlocking chambers where blessings have long been waiting to be released. The breath of Abraham. When Abraham left his homeland, he did so by faith, trusting in the unseen promise of provision. We, too, must leave the familiar terrain of emotional scarcity. When we place a hand on the gut and breathe in the promises of abundance and exhale fear, we walk the same path, guided not by what we see, but by what we feel within. The gut is the garden of perception. The gut is the garden of perception. When emotions of fear and failure plant seeds there, the garden yields thorns. But when we place a hand on the gut and breathe in words like I am blessed, I am supported, we sow divine seeds. In time, the harvest changes. Abundance grows where despair once bloomed. The echoes of wilderness. Like the Israelites in the wilderness, many live in the memory of lack, even when provision is near. The gut holds this wilderness until it is released. With every exhale of old emotion and every inhale of sacred affirmation, we step out of the wilderness and into the land flowing with spiritual and material wealth. The mystical exchange emotion is a currency, and perception is the trade route. When the gut is filled with grief or scarcity, it clouds the flow. Yet through sacred breathing, we participate in a mystical exchange, giving our burdens to the divine and receiving the currency of trust, alignment, and blessing. The prophecy of perception in ancient times, prophets saw beyond the visible. You, too, are prophetic when your perception is clear. But when emotions cloud the gut, the vision is dim. Breathe in light. Breathe in truth. Let the fog lift. And behold, a life of financial ease prophesied from within. The reawakening of the solar gate mystics called the gut the solar center, a gate of fire and life. When filled with despair, the flame dims. But with breath and sacred utterance, the fire reawakens. You become a beacon once again, attracting wealth not through effort, but through radiance. The sacred tension of transformation. The tension in the gut is not always a curse. It is the place where transformation brews. Negative emotions churn because the soul longs to birth something new. With each breath of affirmation, you midwife a new life, one built on peace, permission, and prosperity. The benediction of breath. In old spiritual rites, blessings were spoken aloud to sanctify a moment. You now bless your body with breath. Each inhale becomes a benediction to your gut, saying, "You are safe now. You are worthy now. You are open to divine blessing." And the body responds. The cycle of blessing restored cycles repeat until broken. The gut-brain holds emotional loops that attract familiar outcomes. But the breath breaks the loop. Affirmation rewrites the cycle. Inhale trust. Exhale fear. Inhale favor. Exhale shame. Thus, the old wheel stops turning, and a new one begins. The anointing within. Kings were anointed with oil, but your anointing lies in the gut, the center of alignment and knowing. Breathe into this holy chamber. Speak, "I carry the oil of increase within me." And let the sacred within rise up and crown your life with financial peace. The inner Sabbath. Sabbath is not just a day, it is a state. The gut needs its own Sabbath from the stress of worry and overthinking. Let the breath be your Sabbath prayer. Let affirmations be your rest. In the silence, the gut resets, and abundance finds room to arrive. The hidden vault. Deep within the belly lies a vault, containing not gold, but the blueprint of divine provision. It remains locked when clouded by despair. But the breath is the code. And words of truth turn the key. Breathe in, "I am open to the divine vault of supply." The vault opens from within. The river beneath the ground. Even in the desert, water runs deep underground. So it is with abundance. The gut may feel dry, but the river never ceased. Breathe deep. Speak life. And the flow will rise to the surface, quenching every place where fear once lived. The temple treasury within. In the ancient temple, there was a treasury, guarded, sacred, and abundant. The true temple now is your body. The treasury is your gut. When filled with trust, it overflows. When filled with fear, it withholds. Cleanse the temple with breath. Fill it with affirmation. Let the treasury open. Our emotions tune our perception. Through deep breathing with affirmations, we can restore the flow of divine abundance. The gut as the keeper of the covenant. From the earliest covenants between humanity and the divine, abundance was promised, not just as material wealth, but as wholeness. Yet when the gut is filled with fear, it forgets the covenant. With every sacred breath, we remind it, "You are not forsaken. You are provided for." The sacred memory of the body remembers what the mind forgets. The gut holds memory in silence, past debts, financial betrayals, generational shame. But the breath is the great awakener. When you breathe in peace and affirm I release the old story, the body writes a new script, one where abundance is the main character. The altar of inner offering. In ancient times, offerings were brought to the altar to invite favor. Today, your offering is breath, intentional, present, holy. Your affirmation is the incense. Speak, I offer my fear. I receive divine wealth. And the fire of the inner altar accepts your release and multiplies your return. The gut is the womb of manifestation. The gut is the womb of manifestation, the fertile ground of emotion and energy. When filled with worry, it contracts. But when filled with sacred breath and words of truth, it opens. What once bore anxiety now births overflow. The scroll of the soul. Mystics believed each soul carries a scroll, inscribed with divine purpose and blessing. The gut is the first to read it, but trauma can obscure the words. With breath and affirmation, the soul's scroll is unrolled again, revealing, you are destined for increase, not decrease. The fire in the center. The ancients called the belly the fire center, the place of will, courage, and creative force. Financial fears dim this flame. But breath fans it. Affirmation feeds it. Say, my center burns with divine provision. And watch as the flame of abundance rises once more. The release of the Pharaoh's chains. Like ancient Israel under Pharaoh, many are trapped in emotional bondage around money. But the breath is Moses. The word is the staff. Speak truth into your gut, and the waters of your fear will part. Walk forward into the land of overflow. The veil of emotional distortion. Emotions form a veil through which we perceive the world. A gut heavy with grief distorts vision, making blessings appear distant. But through breath and affirmation, the veil lifts. Perception clears. And the blessings were there all along, waiting to be seen. The golden thread of divine provision across history. Mystics spoke of a golden thread that runs through life, connecting us to divine support. Fear in the gut tangles this thread. Breath untangles it. Word strengthens it. Follow the thread through breath, and it will lead you to the treasure prepared for you. The temple treasury of the body. The ancient temple had a treasury chamber, a sacred space of wealth. Your gut is that chamber now. But it must be swept clean of fear. Each breath is a broom. Each word a cleansing fire. I am the treasury of God's abundance. And so the chamber is restored. The gate of perception and the angel of emotion. In mystical tradition, perception is a gate, and emotions are its angelic guards. When fear controls the gate, opportunities are locked out. But when peace is breathed in and affirmations spoken, the angel opens the gate wide, saying, let the blessings enter. The rhythm of heaven. Divine wealth flows in rhythm, expansion, rest, giving, receiving. But fear disrupts rhythm and creates stagnation. The gut locks down. Breath brings rhythm back. With each inhale and exhale, you realign with heaven's economy, and enter into divine timing. The healing of the inner exile. Many live in inner exile, cast out from their own sense of worth. The gut carries this banishment. But breath is the welcome home. Affirmation is the return path. Speak, I belong to abundance. I return to Eden. And the gates open within. The rekindling of divine trust. Financial trauma burns the bridge of trust between the gut and the divine. But the breath is the water that cools the flame. With every sacred word, you lay down new stones of trust. I am held. I am laid. I am richly sustained. The bridge is restored. The inner kingdom reclaimed. Christ said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." But fear sets up false rulers in the gut, voices of lack, unworthiness, doubt. Through breath and affirmation, you dethrone them. You reclaim the throne within and crown your being with the wealth of heaven. Our emotions tune our perception. Through deep breathing with affirmations, we can restore the flow of divine abundance. The gut as the seat of inner kingship. In ancient cultures, rulers were crowned not only on their heads but within, by aligning their inner dominion. The gut was seen as the seat of this sovereignty. When filled with fear and shame, it forgets its royal nature. But when you breathe in, I reign with divine abundance, your inner throne is restored. The sacred scroll of the belly. Mystics believed that the body contains scrolls of memory and prophecy. The gut scroll is often written in the ink of emotion. When trauma scribed the word lack, we began to expect it. Yet through breath and affirmation, the scroll can be rewritten. I am written into the story of divine provision. The cloak of perception. Emotions are like garments, what we wear becomes how we see. When the gut wears the cloak of fear, the world looks like scarcity. But when we place a hand on the gut and breathe in truth and speak light, we clothe ourselves in favor. The gut softens. Perception changes. And the world begins to mirror abundance. The reclamation of the gut temple. The ancients treated the belly as sacred space, a temple of inner wisdom and divine flow. But unhealed experiences desecrate this temple. Breath becomes the incense. Words become holy fire. I cleanse my temple with peace, and abundance returns. The great emotional fast. Just as prophets fasted from food to hear clearly, we too must fast from old emotional imprints. The gut clings to what it's been fed: fear, control, regret. But breath is a sacred fast. With every exhale of emotion and inhale of truth, we empty and make space for the feast of blessing. The ancestral purge. The gut holds more than our story, it holds the emotions of those who came before us. Their survival fears often live as financial blocks within. With sacred breath and the affirmation, I release what is not mine, we become the generation that purifies the field for blessings to finally bloom. The waters of the deep belly. In many traditions, the gut was likened to deep waters. When stagnant, it reflects only darkness. But breath stirs the waters. Affirmation drops like sacred rain. And the deep begins to flow again, washing away old perceptions and revealing the treasure that was always there. The gut as the first altar. Before temples were built in stone, altars were formed in the body. The gut is the altar where emotion meets spirit. When we offer praise through breath and sacred word, fire descends. And just as in ancient days, the offering is accepted, and abundance follows. The discerning eye within. Yeshua taught, if your eye is single, your whole body is full of light. The gut is that inner eye, the discerner. But when emotions distort it, it cannot see the path of provision. Breathe. Speak light. And the inner eye clears. Suddenly, provision becomes visible again. The sacred rhythm of receiving abundance flows in rhythm: inhale, exhale, give, receive. Trauma disrupts the rhythm and the gut holds the beat of fear. But every intentional breath resets the tempo. I breathe with the rhythm of divine supply. And the soul begins to dance again with the song of receiving. The shofar of the belly. In Hebrew tradition, the shofar, a ram's horn, was blown to announce release, jubilee, and return. The breath, when paired with affirmation, becomes your internal shofar. When spoken into the gut, it declares, debt is released. My field is returned. The time of favor has come. The oil of inner worth. In sacred anointings, oil signified value. But when negative emotions fill the gut, we forget our worth. Through the breath, we remember. Through words, we anoint ourselves again. I am the vessel of sacred wealth. I overflow with favor. The oil flows where once the gut was dry. The mystery of mana fell daily, no need to store, hoard, or fear. But emotional pain teaches the opposite. The gut contracts, bracing for loss. Yet when we place a hand on the gut and breathe in, I am sustained by the unseen. The gut relaxes. We return to the mystery of daily abundance, given freely from the divine source. The resurrection of the financial soul in mystical tradition. Resurrection is not only for the body, but for the patterns that died in fear. Our financial soul can sleep, buried under disappointment. But breath is resurrection wind. Affirmation is the stone rolled away. I rise into a new cycle of wealth. And the soul stands up in favor. The throne between heaven and earth. The gut is the midpoint, between spirit and body, heaven and earth. What you feel there becomes what you manifest. Fill it with fear, and you align with lack. Fill it with truth, and heaven responds. Breathe deeply. Speak your royalty. I sit at the crossroads of blessing. I command provision in peace. Our emotions tune our perception. Through deep breathing with affirmations, we can restore the flow of divine abundance. The gut scroll of destiny. Ancient mystics taught that the belly records every emotional response like a living scroll. When hardship enters, it etches messages of survival and scarcity. But each breath of affirmation, I am safe. I am provided for, rewrites the scroll with divine intention, restoring your path of prosperity. The sacred womb of provision. In early spiritual cosmologies, the belly was known as the second womb, a place where ideas and outcomes gestate. But when filled with fear, the womb tightens. Breathe in peace. Whisper, abundance is forming in me. The gut relaxes, and life begins to flow again through the sacred inner waters. The emotional mirror of gold. What you feel within becomes what you see without. Emotions mirror perception. When bitterness clouds the gut, even blessings appear dull. But when you breathe in gratitude and repeat, I see with the eyes of wealth, the inner lens clears, and gold appears where once there was dust. The scribe of the belly gate. The ancient Kabbalists believed the gut was a gate between worlds, with a scribe recording every emotional entry. Negative experiences flood this gate with grief, closing the flow of provision. Through breath and word, you speak directly to the gatekeeper. Open to me, O gate of divine increase. The compass of emotional direction. In the mystery schools, perception was trained through feeling. The gut was the compass. When sorrow became its dominant pulse, it pointed only to lack. But breath acts like divine magnetism. Affirm, I align with true north, the direction of abundance. The compass reorients, and the path is revealed. The temple of inner harvest. The gut is an ancient field, a temple where seeds of perception are sown. Emotion is the rain. Fear brings drought. But affirmation becomes rain clouds over parched soil. Breathe in, my harvest is returning. And the sacred field of your belly bursts into new life. The phoenix of the gut flames. Some traditions call the belly the fire of will and transformation. But shame and loss can smother the flame. Yet with breath and word, I rise from the ashes of lack. The phoenix stirs. Your financial spirit lifts its wings and flies from the cinders of the past. The crown hidden in the belly. While the head wears the visible crown, the gut carries the hidden one, your birthright of provision. When trauma veils it, you forget. But as you breathe, speak, I wear the crown of divine inheritance. The gut begins to shine. You walk again as one favored by heaven. The gut as the prophet's cave. Prophets often withdrew into caves to hear God. Your gut, too, is such a cave. When filled with noise from emotional pain, the voice becomes faint. But breathing clears the echo. Affirm, I make space for divine instruction. And like Elijah, you hear the whisper of provision. The belly as the Holy Grail. The Grail was not only a cup, it was a symbol of inner fullness. The gut, when at peace, becomes the Grail that catches every divine blessing. Breathe in, my cup runs over. Breathe out fear. The Grail fills again, not with lack, but with sacred wealth. The river of the deep earth. Mystics of old spoke of a river beneath the earth, hidden, but flowing. The gut connects us to that sacred stream. When blocked by resentment, we become dry. But breath becomes a shovel. Affirmation, I return to the river of supply. And soon, the waters break forth. The gut is the vault of the covenant. Just as the ark carried the covenant of provision in the wilderness, your gut carries your divine agreement. When filled with despair, we forget the terms. But breath is remembrance. Speak, I am in covenant with abundance. The vault opens. Manna returns. The veil of perception is torn in mystical tradition. Perception is a veil, often woven from the fabric of emotion. The gut weaves this veil daily. When pain lingers, the veil becomes thick. But breath is the sacred wind. Affirm, I see beyond illusion. The veil tears, and reality reshapes to match your new vision. The pillar of emotional fire. Just as fire led the Israelites through the night, emotion leads the subconscious. The gut houses that flame. When overwhelmed by negativity, it flickers. But breathe, and declare, my inner fire burns with divine direction. The pillar rises, and your path is lit. The jubilee of the body. In ancient Hebrew law, jubilee meant release, of debt, of bondage, of all that enslaved. Your gut holds emotional debts long unpaid. Breath is your trumpet. Speak, this is my year of release. As you exhale fear, the gut brain awakens, and the gates of wealth swing open once more. Emotions shape perception, which creates experience. When the gut brain is filled with unresolved negative emotions, it sustains cycles of lack. But when we place a hand on the gut and breathe in positive affirmations and sacred words, and exhale emotional residue, we allow the inner field to reset, aligning with new cycles of abundance. The garden of the inner earth. In the ancient temples of Mesopotamia, the belly was seen as the lower Eden where emotion germinates into creation. When sorrow sits too long in this soil, it yields bitter fruit. But breathing in sacred words like I am blessed beyond measure turns the soil. A new harvest grows. The silent scribe in the gut. The mystics of Alexandria believed each person held a silent scribe within the gut brain, recording every feeling as a sacred scroll. When pain is repeated, the scribe repeats the script. But with each breath of I am safe, I am supported, I prosper in peace, the script is rewritten in gold. The echo chamber of the solar plexus. Ancient healers taught that the solar plexus echoes back whatever it's given. Grief echoes lack, but gratitude echoes prosperity. When you breathe in I walk in divine favor and exhale all that weighs heavy, the echo changes. The body begins to vibrate in the rhythm of wealth. The gate of the merchant priests. In the old cities of Phoenicia, priests were merchants of energy, teaching that the gut was the first market. Emotions were traded here for experiences. Breathe in, I trade fear for faith, lack for flow. In this sacred exchange, the market turns toward profit and blessing. The forge of the lower kingdom. Egyptian mystics saw the belly as a forge where raw emotion is smelted into life events. Anger burns too hot and melts opportunity. But the breath cools the fire. Affirm, I temper my inner fire for divine increase. Now the forge crafts gold. The portal of the prophets bread. Elijah was fed in the wilderness when the body was weak and the spirit low. The gut receives bread not just of earth, but of spirit. When weighed down by emotion, it hungers for more than food. Breathe in, I am fed by divine provision. The gut remembers its heavenly origin. The drumbeat of inner tribes. The ancients believed that within the belly resided tribes of emotional spirits: joy, fear, desire, hope. When fear becomes chief, the inner tribe marches into cycles of lack. But breath is a new rhythm. Chant inward, peace leads me now. Abundance walks beside me. The tribe turns. The reservoir of the hidden spring. Mystics of the desert knew that the gut held a hidden spring, which could go dry from shame and grief. Yet a single breath infused with I am worthy of overflowing blessing can break the rock. Water rushes forth again. Provision flows where it once had ceased. The scroll of the lion belly. In early Hebrew law, the belly was called the lion's resting place, a seat of power and prophecy. When fear binds the lion, it paces endlessly. But breath stills it. Speak, the lion in me remembers its kingdom. Strength returns, and with it, the wealth of the wild. The tuning fork of feeling. Emotion is not merely reaction, it is vibration. And the gut is a tuning fork. Pain detunes it, bending perception toward false frequencies of lack. But affirming I vibrate with divine wealth while breathing reattunes the body. What was off-key becomes harmonic with heaven's rhythm. The temple between worlds. In Vedic tradition, the gut was a crossing place where matter met spirit. Emotional clutter veiled this gate. When you breathe in truth, I am aligned with sacred flow. You sweep the temple clean. The divine passes freely again, and with it, financial grace. The sea beneath the mountain. The gut is like the deep sea beneath a high mountain, vast, unseen, yet holding immense power. When stormed by negative emotion, it floods the senses. But breath is the calming wind. Declare, let peace still the waters. Let wealth rise like the tide. The flood turns to flow. The goldsmith of inner thought. In the esoteric schools of Persia, it was taught that thought and feeling form the molds for financial fate. The gut was the goldsmith's workshop. Breathe in, I mold my path with the tools of truth. You begin to cast new forms, shaped by light, not fear. The root vault of divine exchange. The lower body was once called the vault of divine exchange. When sorrow settles there, the vault rusts shut. But when you breathe in with intent and affirm I open to divine compensation, you polish the lock. Heaven's hand can now return what was withheld. The river scroll of the ancients. A legend from the east speaks of a scroll that flows through every human being like a river, etched in water, shaped by emotion. Negative cycles carve dry banks in the gut brain. But the breath is the stylus of new script. Breathe, I write my blessings into the river of now. Let the new waters carry your story of provision. There is a golden thread that winds through every soul, unseen, yet ancient. It weaves through the heart, through the breath, through the gut where emotions reside like seeds. This golden thread is the divine remembrance, the covenant of abundance that predates all fear. The gut, the second brain, holds memory in muscle and mood. I am a vessel of overflowing grace. We begin to untangle the knots. Each breath becomes a hand, drawing that thread forward, out of darkness, into clarity. And we remember, the golden thread was never outside us. It was always within, waiting to be followed back to the source of every blessing. The thread beneath all things. Long before coins clinked or commerce was conceived, there was a golden thread. It wove through the soul of humanity, whispering, you are provided for. When your gut is knotted by fear, breathe deeply, and feel for that thread. It remembers abundance even when you do not. The gut is the forgotten oracle in ancient temples. Oracles spoke from their bellies, not their minds. The gut, the seat of knowing, once guided kings and prophets. When filled with sorrow, its voice is silenced. But with sacred breath and affirmations, it remembers its song. You are blessed. You are provided for. The breath that weaves again negative emotions fray the golden thread within the gut brain. But the ancients taught that breath is the needle. Inhale divine words, exhale grief, and stitch again the pattern of abundance once etched into your being. The sacred spiral of provision. The universe moves in rotations. So too does abundance. When your perception loops in fear, that spiral tightens. But when you breathe in love, gratitude, and the words of light, the spiral unwinds, and blessings begin to flow again. The gut, garden of the divine thread. Your gut is a holy soil. Negative experiences plant weeds, affirmations plant gold. With breath, you uproot the weeds. With each divine word spoken into the gut, you water the seed of the golden thread, and financial blessings blossom again. The thread remembered in stillness. The mystics went into the desert not to escape but to remember. In the silence, they felt the golden thread return to their bellies. In stillness, breathe in, I am supplied by the source. In stillness, the gut brain resets its compass to the divine. The knot of scarcity unraveled. What is scarcity but a knot in the thread of perception? The gut, in its wisdom, protects with tension. But it also responds to truth. With every slow, sacred breath, and each word of abundance spoken aloud, the knot loosens. The flow returns. Echoes of ancestors' blessings. Your lineage knew the thread. They called it promise, covenant, blessing. Though generations faced lack, the golden thread never broke, it simply hid beneath grief. As you breathe in truth and exhale ancestral fear, the blessings buried in your belly rise again. The thread between breath and blessing. In ancient Egypt, breath was called the life of the Ka. In Hebrew, ruach, the breath, was spirit. Your financial healing is not only in doing, but in breathing. With each inhale, the golden thread is lifted. With each exhale, the old story ends. The divine loom within the gut is a loom. Emotions are threads. Perception is the pattern. When the loom is fed with fear, it weaves scarcity. But when it is fed with divine affirmations, I am worthy, I am supported, a new tapestry emerges. One threaded in gold. The word that reawakens. In the beginning was the word, and that word still echoes in your belly. Speak it again. Not as repetition, but as resurrection. Say, abundance is mine by divine design. The gut hears. The thread awakens. When the gut becomes the temple true temple is not made by hands. It is within you. When fear defiles it, poverty becomes prophecy. But the gut can be cleansed, through breath, through word, through silence. Then the golden thread is restored, and the treasury of heaven opens again. The thread as messenger of the divine. The golden thread is more than memory, it is a messenger. It whispers divine messages into your perception. But only when the static of fear is cleared. With every breath of peace, every exhalation of pain, the message grows clearer, you are supported. Always. The return to the inner covenant. The covenant of abundance is not made on paper, it is stitched into your gut. It was there at birth. It waits beneath your pain. When you speak affirmations into your belly, divine provision is my birthright, you do not create abundance. You return to it. The weaving of heaven through you. You are not merely a receiver of financial blessings, you are a weaver. Your breath is the shuttle. Your affirmations are the thread. Your gut is the loom. In each moment you choose peace over panic, truth over fear, you weave heaven into earth. Sings within the phrase, what you radiate from the solar core becomes creation. The solar core of creation in the ancient mysteries, the sun was never merely a ball of fire in the sky, it was the visible eye of the divine, the radiant heart of the cosmos. The sages knew what modern minds have forgotten, that there is a sun within you. This inner sun, the solar core, is not metaphor but mystery. It dwells behind the sternum, where the gut, brain, heart, and spirit converge in sacred dialogue. It is the throne of will, of radiance, of divine inheritance. And what you feel here, believe here, and breathe from here, becomes the shape of your world. Financial blessings do not merely arrive from the outer, they respond to your inner radiance. Like ancient gold drawn to the touch of kings, wealth aligns itself with the one who knows their own light. When fear coils in the belly, when the gut contracts in the memory of lack, that solar core dims. And from this dimness, perception twists. Scarcity is not born from fact, it is born from the shadowed flame within. But the breath is the sacred bellows. With each inhale of divine affirmation, I am supported, I radiate abundance, I create in the light, the solar fire is fade. The gut unknots. The perception clears. And the world begins to shimmer with new possibility. Creation is not passive. It is magnetic. That which radiates from your solar core shapes form, circumstance, opportunity. In ancient Egypt, Ra sailed the golden boat across the heavens because he had to be seen. Visibility is power. So too, your inner light must be made visible, through action, through faith, through emotion aligned with prosperity. So breathe into the solar core. Feel its warmth, this ancient altar within you. Speak your financial blessings not as wish, but as radiant decree. Let your body believe them. Let your gut carry the vibration. Let your field respond. Because what you radiate from the solar core becomes creation. And you were born to create in gold. What you radiate from the solar core becomes creation. The solar temple within in the temples of old, initiates bowed before solar discs not as symbols, but as mirrors. They knew, as above, so within. The solar plexus is not just a nerve cluster, it is a throne. From this solar core, you radiate thoughts into form. Breathe light into it, and prosperity becomes your echo. The alchemy of the inner sun alchemy wasn't only about metals, it was about light. Your inner sun transmutes emotion into matter. When you radiate from fear, life hardens. But when you radiate from trust and abundance, the gold appears, not only in coin, but in clarity, timing, and flow. The pulse of the ancient light in every mystic tradition, breath was sacred. It was how the divine moved through flesh. When you breathe into your solar center with words of wealth, you awaken the ancient pulse of creation. What you feel in the gut becomes reality in time. The king's fire, the ancient monarchs weren't crowned from above, they were lit from within. Their authority came from the solar fire in the core of their being. You too have this fire. Speak wealth from that place, not from want, but from rulership. That fire bends the world. The radiance of word and will creation is not made of things, it is made of waves, vibrations, resonance. Words spoken from the solar core carry weight. When you affirm, I am blessed. I am provided for from deep belly and breath, the field aligns. The mirror of the sun, the outer world is not an origin, it is a mirror. What you radiate from your core reflects as form. If fear lives in the solar center, it echoes back as lack. But breathe in courage, Speak prosperity, and your mirror clears. The priesthood of the breath in lost orders, priests stood before golden altars breathing in light and exhaling prayer. The altar was not stone, it was the solar plexus. You are this priest now. Breathe in divine supply. Exhale false lack. The body remembers. Creation obeys. The axis of abundance, your solar core is an axis, the place where divine intent and human will meet. When you breathe peace into that center, and speak truth from that core, your axis spins with balance. And from this axis, blessings revolve into being. The codex of radiance, every emotion carries code. And the gut is where code becomes command. When you feel worthy, that code becomes visible. Radiate worthiness. Radiate dignity. Let your emotions write new law into your field, and watch the law of abundance answer. The solar covenant from Abraham's stars to Egypt's sunboats, there was a covenant, the light within reflects the wealth without. When you breathe light into your gut, you restore the covenant. The solar core signs the agreement with divine supply. The solar garden, your belly is a garden of vibration. Words are seeds. Emotions are the soil. If the soil is resentment, poverty grows. But breathe forgiveness into the ground. Plant words of plenty. Radiate gratitude. The garden will yield blessings. The solar drum of rhythm, the gut pulses like a drum. Emotion is its rhythm. You can strike it with fear, or with faith. Breathe in the rhythm of prosperity. Speak in the rhythm of gratitude. What you radiate from that drumhead becomes the song of your life. The gold of Gnosis, the ancient Gnostics taught that light hides within matter, waiting to be awakened. Your financial blessings are already encoded in the field. But only your inner radiance, your solar Gnosis, can reveal them. Radiate, and what was hidden becomes visible. The resurrection of the sun within. When life feels dark, it is not that the sun has vanished, but that your solar fire has dimmed beneath emotional ash. Resurrection begins with breath. Each affirmation of abundance you breathe is a flame. Enough flames, and the fire returns. The divine signature, when the divine signed your being, it placed its name in the solar core. That name was Creator. When you radiate belief, faith, clarity from that center, you sign creation again, with your will aligned to divine will. And money, provision, ideas, they respond.